It's funny, you know how life can be. You know who you are at the beginning, and then everybody else tries to tell you what you should be, and sometimes you conform, and your life is all about, I feel like we spend most of our lives trying to undo the things that were put on us as we were developing that weren't actually a part of our identity. It just took a lot of taking on things that weren't for me and then learning how to get those off of me to get back down to the bareness of like, this is who you actually are and this is who you were already created to be. When you daydream as a kid and you see yourself in the future and you see yourself a certain way, before everybody starts telling you you good at science, so you should be a scientist, or you good at track, you should be a runner, before all of that, you daydream about what you want to be and what you want to do. And those pure thoughts are really, I think, glimpses of your destiny. And I think life distorts that pure vision, and then we start to get confused about who we are, where we should go, what we should do. But if we can keep peeling back to like what was the original form of our purity and our identity, that's the truth. And I think that if we can all point to that, it'll make the compass really accurate about what to do for the rest of your life. If you can just learn to separate what other people wanted from you from what was already for you from the jump.
Sometimes they don't, you know that story. Somebody said a brighter day.
When I left biology, that was not like some noble choice. It was, I was working so hard at that, and physically my health was declining. I developed high blood pressure in my early 20s just from like the demands of corporate America. I was working like 60-hour weeks. I didn't have time to go home and see my family. When my grandfather got sick, I couldn't go home to St. Louis to see him because I was working so many hours. It was like life was kicking my butt and showing me that you trying to swim upstream instead of just going with the flow. And so that's when it was stripping away in a painful way, you know, not of, I just want to be noble and do this. It took my grandfather getting that sick for me to start to really listen to God and say, where are you moving? I went to go see him about 10 days before he passed away. And then after he passed, I went back to St. Louis for about a month. And in that time, I just sat with my family, and then I was ready to go back to work at the end of August. And I thought about it, and I looked, and I realized I had like enough music work that I never had to go back to corporate America. And I didn't even realize I was already working so hard at keeping up with everybody else's expectation of me and trying to satisfy my own heart that I was working 2 full-time jobs, more than 40 hours a week. I think I just felt it, the tug of like, I really wish I had time, like, cause I was depressed and I was, you know, working against the current. At the end of the day, I'm like, I just want to drink. I just like to numb all of that desire in me that's unfulfilled, you know. Part of that is being like the oldest kid. All of the expectations, you know, are on you to become. And then if you have siblings behind you, it's even more pressure on you, because then your parents are telling you, you know, your brother watching you. And I've heard many times, you need to finish college because you're showing them a good example. You know, those are layers, and those are extra things you need to pick up along the way in order to continue to be what everybody else wants you to be. And I put up everything because I was like, these people love me, and if I'm feeling unsure, I should just trust the voices around me. But at a certain point, you have to grow up and say, there's only one voice that matters, and that's the voice of God. And that's the one that's actually gonna orient you into a place of safety and along the flow. And it goes, you know that story. Things go your way, and sometimes they don't. You know that story. But it takes tapping into something way bigger to say there's much more to see. My art is as close to my actual self as it can be. I personally choose that type of art that is just actual self-expression. I'm actually expressing what's in myself so that it is honest and tangible. And it's not like me starting a singing career is something that I'm doing brand new. I think just as early, I always saw myself as a singer, no matter what happened in between, 5 years old and 32 with all of the life changes. I've always had a vision of myself on stage, myself singing songs like my whole life. And so it's nice to see that at this point in my life, I'm still exactly where I knew I would be when I was a kid.
The right words to say, but don't give up. 'Cause if you quit right now, you won't see your win. And I wanna see you win.